Alright guys, and welcome back to Region Unlocked. Today what we wanted to do was talk about some games that we've managed to get our hands on and enjoyed. However, obviously they weren't released in the PAL region, which is a bit of a shame. So since I went first in the last video,
I'm going to go first this time. First off is the game Wacky 7 for the Sega Saturn. I would personally say it's a solid fighter, like.
oh, too right, it's a solid fighter.
Now, if you compare it to the arcade version, it's a crap, like. But
yeah, that's,
at the end of the day, that is comparing it to an arcade one,
yeah,
which is purely built for one game.
It's the same as Galaxy Fight. It looks terrible on consoles, but if you play the arcade version, it's superior.
Yeah, it's got some proper quirky characters, like, hasn't it? Punching bag.
You get a punching bag, and you also got like
a copper in a tank.
I actually thought the punching bag was like, I don't know, similar to the way Tofu is in Resident Evil. We are just completely out of the ballpark, but it works.
Yeah, the scenery's nice as well because it changes from day to night as well.
Oh, I see. That's the one thing. Like, obviously there'll be footage up, and you'll notice the difference when I compile it together. Like, depending on what round you're in, you actually get different like night and day cycles, which is.
It's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah,
because you don't really see that in fighters.
Yeah, even nowadays fighters you don't even get to see much of that, but back then you did, so it's a bit of a shame.
You gotta love the Japanese.
They definitely know how to make their games.
Yeah, and I'd say next is my other Sega Saturn game is Policenauts. I won't go too much into this because there's 1,000 videos out there going, oh, Policenauts, why didn't they get a European release or a Western release?
Yeah.
Let's just say it's because they were lazy in translating.
Literally, it would have been simple enough to get it translated and it would have been perfect.
Yeah, that's especially now considering there's a fan translation.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, with there being a fan translation, we'll leave the link down below so you can download it and you can go about your means of playing it. Even if it is a bit dodgy.
Yeah, it may be a dodgy way to get it, but I mean, if it's the only way of being able to play it in English, you've got to take it, really.
Yeah.
So.
But it is very much the spiritual successor to Snatcher. Solid game.
Yeah.
Bit hard. If you like visual novels, give it a shot. It's a solid story and enjoyable game. Story. Well, I said it twice. Gameplay. There's even light gun sections in it.
Aye.
Yeah.
Would you actually have to would you need to have a light gun?
You don't need the light gun, but you can just use your controller, but you can do that. Same on Snatcher, you've got the spirit light gun as well.
Right, I have to listen to that later.
But if you want to download patch, the English translation have actually fixed loads of the glitches and stuff, which is already existing in the Japanese one.
Which is very much needed.
Yeah, especially certain bits. That's the end of my section.
Yeah, well, what I've got is I've got a fighting game which is called the Rumblefish. Not to be mistaken for the film, because every time I try to search for it, I would always get a film. Don't know why. But this game was an arcade game. It was actually meant for the Atomic Wave, which is. It's basically a red box, and the games are like square block cartridges.
It's essentially a Neo Geo.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like those old games that you would buy for your little babies, where you get the square block, you put it into the square hole. It's pretty much what it's like. But the game itself is absolutely beautiful. It's one of the few fighting games that really utilizes the potential it has, and for some reason got ported to the PlayStation 2 only in Japan, which is a shame, but at the same time,
it's no surprise either.
Yeah, and I know there was a second one that got released as well, which was literally only for the Atomic Wave. So if you want to get it, you do have to get the Atomic Wave just to play it.
Super gun time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Things like that will definitely be more beneficial for it. But the game itself, it isn't too expensive, especially for what it is, considering. But the overall graphics, I think. I mean, don't quote me on this, but I think the graphics are actually similar to how they did Guilty Gear Xrd, which is actually 3D done in a 2D style, which is how the characters have like such a weird, smooth movement. But yeah, it's a fucking beautiful game, like.
It's a pretty solid game. Like,
too right.
it feels very much like old fighters compared to the newer ones.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know your combo, you kind of basically play the game like.
Yeah, pretty much like. The next one is a game called Espada Luda, which is a bullet hell shooter, which is not unlike any of the other ones we didn't get. But this one in particular, I don't know the story too much of it, even though the story is actually in English, which is surprising.
Weird considering it's a Japanese game.
Yeah.
It never got released over here yet.
There's lots of English.
The story is in English.
Yeah. You probably will see the story if I put the video up at some point. But the gameplay itself is exactly what you would expect from a bullet hell shooter, and it is a 2-player, as you can probably tell as well. But it's smooth. I mean, it's one of the. There are some bullet hells which have like certain slowdown, which you do get in Espada Luda to some degree, but nowhere near the way that some of the bullet hell shooters have it. But it's fast, it's crazy.
It's just mental, really, isn't it?
As you'd expect from a bullet hell shooter, like, and it can be quite a pain in the backside to try and put in.
The second boss, especially if you didn't know what the fuck you're doing, like, you're fucked.
Oh, right. Second boss basically abused us, bent us over, stuck a fucking pole up our arse and just stuck her on a spit, just to cook her.
And ask for more.
I was like, would you like some more? Yes, please. But yeah, man, both of those games are incredible, and it's a shame that both never got released on the PS2 over here, or even in America. It would have been sufficient then. And the same with the Saturn games. It's a crying shame how they never got released over here, and there's a whole load more. So the likely chance is we will cover this again in the future. But for now, we're going to leave you with this video, and we will see you in the next one. See you guys later. Might as well.